They said no one could fill Khabib Nurmagomedov's shoes. Yet Islam Makhachev has kicked the door wide open and seized the throne. Some fans see him as a mirror image of the Eagle, while others insist he's forging his own path, maybe even outshining his mentor. Could it be just another wave of Dagestani hype? Or are we witnessing the rise of MMA's next unstoppable force? Stick around, you won't believe the battles he's fought to reach the top. Islam's climb isn't just about following a legend. He's refined his own method, fusing technical wrestling with crisp striking, learning not just from Khabib's victories, but also from every single detail of his training environment in Dagestan's rugged mountain camps. Where others might get caught up in their own headlines, Islam quietly sharpened his weapons, dismantling skeptics one dominant win at a time. But has he truly eclipsed Khabib's reign, or is this only the beginning of something even bigger? The moment Khabib retired, the lightweight division turned into a war zone, eager contenders and battle-tested veterans all jockeying for position atop the 155-pound heap. Islam wasted no time planting his flag. He jumped headfirst into a clash with Dan Hooker, a fearsome rangy striker known for holding his own in dogfights against Paul Felder and Dustin Poirier. Most expected a back-and-forth war. Instead, Makhachev put on a tutorial in grappling dominance. In the opening seconds, he shot for a takedown that seemed almost effortless. Hooker, known for his toughness, barely had time to resist. Once on the canvas, Islam's top pressure felt as heavy as a mountain. A ruthless Kimura ended the contest in under 2 minutes, leaving the MMA world buzzing. Was this a glimpse of a new Dagestani tyrant in the making, or just an adrenaline-fueled spark against a veteran caught off guard? In Dagestan, they weren't asking questions. They were already celebrating a newly anointed hero. As Islam's momentum surged, fate threw a curveball. Beneil Dariush withdrew from their highly anticipated clash due to injury. The UFC scrambled for a replacement. Enter Bobby Green, an unorthodox striker and trash-talking showman who'd recently picked up a big win. Stepping in on short notice, Green promised to bring his wild, unpredictable style to test Makhachev's composure. For all of Bobby's bravado, the fight quickly answered any doubts. Islam wasted no time imposing his game plan. He shot a textbook takedown, pinned Green like a magnet, and unleashed a barrage of ground and pound. Within moments, the referee intervened, halting the onslaught before Green could muster any real offense. Skeptics pointed out that Green wasn't a top-ranked contender, but the ease with which Islam dismantled him only stoked the flames of his hype. It wasn't just that he won, it was how relentlessly he snuffed out his opponent's every move. By the way, if you can't get enough high-octane MMA content, hit that subscribe button right now. We've got even crazier showdowns on the horizon, ones you definitely don't want to miss. Charles "Du Bronx" Oliveira had transformed his career from an inconsistent featherweight to a finishing machine at 155. Submissions over Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier earned him a champion status until a scale fiasco left him technically beltless. But make no mistake, Oliveira was still the man to beat. Enter Islam Makhachev, riding an impressive win streak, yet criticized for having faced easier opponents. On paper, you had the best submission artist in UFC history versus a grappling phenom from Dagestan, an instant clash of titans. For Oliveira, it was about reclaiming what he believed rightfully his. For Islam, it was about proving to the world that his mastery wasn't just hype. Oliveira opened strong, even threatening with lightning-quick submission attempts off his back. But time and again, Islam showcased that patented Dagestani positional supremacy, never overextending, constantly neutralizing Charles's angles. Then came round 2. A thunderous right hand from Islam dropped the Brazilian. Seizing the moment like a predator smelling blood, Makhachev latched onto an arm triangle choke that left Oliveira no choice but to tap. Khabib, watching from cage side, vaulted into the octagon, lifting his protege as if to say, "This is what we trained for. This is Father's plan realized." That single moment symbolized a decade of work, ambition, and devotion. Islam was no longer the heir apparent. He was the champion. Alexander Volkanovski, featherweight ruler and pound-for-pound standout, wasn't satisfied with just one belt. He craved a legacy-defining moment, toppling Islam Makhachev to claim lightweight gold. Could the smaller Aussie, boasting relentless cardio and an iron will, overcome Dagestan's new kingpin? Fans salivated at the matchup, imagining unstoppable force meeting unbreakable spirit. Over 5 rounds, Volkanovski made good on his promises, springing back to his feet whenever he got taken down, and even bloodying Islam with precise, unexpected strikes. The crowd roared as the two champions traded momentum. 1 second Islam was in control, the next Volk was landing punishing combinations. At the final horn, the unanimous decision went to Makhachev, but the verdict sparked heated debate. Did the judges favor wrestling control over striking volume, or did the champion simply do enough to secure each round? Volkanovski walked away with an undeniable moral victory. He pushed Makhachev further than anyone else had. For the first time, that formidable Dagestani aura of invincibility appeared ever so slightly cracked. Rather than avoid controversy, Makhachev confronted it head-on. Most champions would accept their victory and fight the next challenger, but Islam wanted to erase every last doubt. When the rematch with Volkanovski came together on short notice, it was a scenario where both fighters had limited time to prepare. Fewer mind games, fewer elaborate game plans, just raw skill on display. From the opening seconds, Makhachev fought like a man possessed. Crisp jabs, chopping leg kicks, and calculated clinch entries had Volkanovski struggling to find his rhythm. Then came the defining moment, a ferocious head kick that collided flush, instantly dropping the featherweight champ. Volk, who had never been knocked out before, was left reeling on the canvas. All questions about who truly reigned supreme vanished in that single heartbeat. Critics who had screamed robbery after the first fight fell silent. In one punishing strike, Islam not only defended his throne, but also reclaimed the aura of a seemingly unstoppable champion. Dustin Poirier, the people's champion, had one last shot at the undisputed belt. Over the years, he'd weathered wars against McGregor, Holloway, Gaethje, you name it, and emerged more determined than ever. Yet Islam Makhachev wasn't just any champion. He carried the strength of Dagestani wrestling and an increasingly dangerous stand-up arsenal that few had managed to decode. From the onset, Poirier's hands looked sharp, landing stiff jabs and counterhooks that tested Islam's chin. But the champion responded with timely double leg takedowns and suffocating clinch work that chewed away at Poirier's gas tank. Both men traded blood and sweat, refusing to give an inch. By round 5, Poirier's face had begun to swell from constant pressure. A scramble on the mat opened just enough space for Makhachev to snake in a Darcy choke. Exhausted and trapped, Dustin tapped, bringing an eerie hush to the crowd. Yet again, Islam proved that whether the fight stays standing or goes to the ground, he can find a path to victory. The lightweight division collectively held its breath, realizing they were now witnessing a champion who had evolved beyond mere hype. From obliterating Dan Hooker in under 2 minutes to silencing critics in a rematch against Volkanovski, Islam Makhachev has blazed through the lightweight division with chilling efficiency. He dethroned Charles Oliveira, a submission savant, crushed Bobby Green on a whim, and stifled seasoned veterans like Dustin Poirier. Each triumph has magnified the question: is he already the greatest Dagestani fighter in UFC history, or is Khabib's legend still standing taller? Wherever you land on that debate, one thing is certain: Makhachev has pushed the envelope of what it means to be the 155-pound king, merging old-school Sambo roots with modern MMA finesse. He's turned skepticism into stunned applause and fueled an entirely new wave of Dagestani dominance. So who's the real pound-for-pound best right now? Sound off in the comments and let us know. And if you crave more adrenaline-fueled MMA coverage like this, don't forget to subscribe, because in a sport where a single strike or scramble can flip the script, you won't want to miss the next chapter. Stay tuned, this story is far from over.